I hope they remember you.
So, yep, everything is coming down. Hello, everyone, and today's video is really sad since I have made the difficult decision well, it wasn't that difficult, honestly. I have made the decision to take down the UNS-60U, otherwise known as the Macro Algae slash non-photosynthetic reef tank for right now. And the reason I'm doing this, because I really want to be transparent about everything, is I feel like I've made too many mistakes. And what I mean by this is I didn't wait till the diatom bloom was gone. You can actually see it's still here with like the rocks and everything and the sand. And I feel like I rushed a lot of stuff. And I feel like I did get better about it going past the first month where I took things down a notch. I was not adding things as fast as I was, but at that point it was just too late. And being gone for the weekend, since it was Memorial Day weekend, and with that being said, rest in peace to all the soldiers who gave their lives for our country. And hopefully, if they can hear us up there in heaven, then hopefully they know that everyone appreciates them and that they did a great service for our country and that they will be missed now and forever on. So back to the video. The light is actually off right now because, as you can see, I'm in the middle of taking this down. Although I drained the water level a lot, and yeah, being gone away for the weekend didn't really help since the timer. I don't know if it was like a malfunction or if someone accidentally like touched the buttons, but I set the timer to 8 hours, which is usually a little less than what I have it for. I usually have it on a 10-hour cycle, but since I'm not home, I did it for 8 hours. Somehow it got switched to 12 hours. So you can see all the nuisance algae actually took over. I can't actually see. You can see some string algae right there. There's a lot more diatoms. The shaving brushes, not the shaving brushes, the pencil caps have gone out. They're basically on the way out. The Halimedas are basically on the way out as well. The Gracilaria species and the Faccia are okayish, but everything, the Galaxera is also pretty much on the way out. So yeah, I feel like this was kind of the turning point. I'm just gonna basically take out the sand and the water and probably move a lot of the things that are still good, like the Christmas tree rock and the Gracilarias to the frag tank. And I'll probably just throw everything out except for the rockscape, of course, and the equipment. But I'll cut back to when this is fully down, and then I'll tell off what I mean, and then I'll tell what the next plans for this tank are, since I really do think that this is for the better. So, what are the future plans for the macroalgae tank? So, starting off, my main things I really want to do for the tank is number one, get new lighting because the night crew light wasn't necessarily bad. I still did see some growth from it from some species of macro, but I just thought with taking the tank down right now, it would be the time to start trying to get a twin star EA light or a twin star E light, since that's what a lot of other people use, like a Tiger Boy, Inland Reef, King Tide Corals. They all use twin star lights, and it's got an excellent spectrum, PAR, things like that for macroalgae. So that is the main thing that I'm looking for. The next thing I'm looking for is bigger grain sized sand. Since I think this is one of the biggest fails of the tank was that I went with a really fine grained sand. This was the Carib Sea Aragalive Oolite sand, and I think it's the finest particles size sand they have. And the reason that this was such a problem was because whenever I turned the wave maker on to above, I think it was like above 60%, a lot of the sand would get blown around. So this stopped me from having it to a higher level where it could keep all of like the nuisance algae and little debris off the macroalgae themselves, because every time I turned it above 60%, a lot of the sand would get blown around. So right now I'm looking at the Fiji pink sand or the special grade sand because those are pretty immune to getting blown around by the wave maker. And then this is something minor, but I really want to get the frosted background back on here since now the tank is actually taken down. I want to take my time with adding the background because last time I put the background on and then only let it set for about 15 minutes, which in general, I probably should have waited a couple hours just because I should have made sure to get all the water out and made sure that there was no air pockets or any way for air to get in because that was, I'm pretty sure, the main reason why it just didn't stick after like a week because I would always discover really massive pockets of air coming in about every day. So each day I would have to take it off, spray it, and then reattach it that way. But that just didn't work out long term, so I scrapped it. So this time, I'm really gonna make sure that there's actually enough time for it to set, so that problems like that don't arise again. I do have some other changes I'm thinking about making, but those are just the significant ones, like the lighting, the sand, and the background and stuff like that. But for the meantime, this tank will be used as something else, which I'll explain in a little bit, that I'm really excited for because I'm not just gonna let this tank sit there for the next couple months while I gather the things I need for it. But right now, what I'll be focusing on are the patio ponds because it is turning into patio pond season here in Washington or just the whole Pacific Northwest in general. Because I have some pretty big plans for those, which you'll see probably the next video. But what I'm going to do with the equipment that I have now, such as the wave maker, I have a spare heater, the Oase heater for a 10-gallon, and the night crew light. I'll probably actually set up a 10-gallon grow out tank for some species of macroalgae. Everything, I actually don't know if I explained this earlier, but everything that I did save, I actually got moved over to the frag tank. And as far as I know, since it's been a week now, the Christmas tree worms are doing good. The Hector's goby is doing good. The couple species of macro I put in there are also doing good, and then the conch is also doing good. So because the frag tank is bare bottom, and it does have the Aqua Clear 70 on it, I think the flow is really helping a lot of stuff out, and I think especially the Christmas tree worms are benefiting it from a lot because they're getting a lot of flow now. The Parietes is actually under some actual coral light, so it's healing up pretty nicely. I think everything is just doing really well in there until I move them back, of course. But yeah, with the light, the pump, and the filter, maybe I'll probably set up a 10-gallon grow out tank for a couple species of macro while I wait for the actual display tank to get set up. But this thing isn't gonna have anything special. Probably between 1 and 3 species, and maybe some small inverts if I do find any that I plan to go in the main display, but that's all up in the air right now. And what is this UNS 60 going to be used for in the meantime? It is actually going to be used for a freshwater tank. So something I've always wanted to do is a blackwater escape. So this tank in the meantime is actually going to be used as a blackwater tank. I'm really excited about it since it's something I've always wanted to do again. Probably since 3 years ago, I was between like different tank sizes and was wondering what I wanted to do. But now, since Wet Spot has been getting in some really awesome fish that I've been waiting a couple years for to get, so I think this is the perfect time to set this up. And when I do have everything for the macro algae tank ready, all of that will be going into the 55-gallon. The blackwater tank will turn into the 55-gallon will turn into the blackwater tank after it's used for a quarantine tank, and then the macro algae tank will be here once again. So the timeline is a little messy, especially since I haven't updated on all the tanks yet, I don't believe. So that'll be an explanation coming up probably soon, actually. But yeah, I'm super sad in myself for making all these mistakes, but you learn from those mistakes, and I think this time I'll learn to be more patient. I'll actually get the stuff that I've been wanting, and that won't inhibit any of the other inhabitants. Yeah, with that being it, my name is Northwest Fishkeeping, signing out.